All right, fam. So we're starting off doing our big one. There was a lot of chatter online in the last few days about how people miss the Wii U. And here's the thing. The reason you know that these people are lying, the reason you know that these lonely individuals are crawling out of their caves to spew nonsense that is only there to, rile the masses up. The reason we know they're peddling falsehoods is because if someone was really going to respect a console that didn't get its flowers, if someone was really going to waste their time saying that they miss a specific genre of like Nintendo eras, they would be talking about the 3DS and exclusively the 3DS, because this, and this is my hot take, is Nintendo's absolute best goated flop console. Now, I'm gonna say the thing that's triggering to begin, and then we're gonna go on and I'm gonna explain myself. But truly, like, despite this being a financial success for Nintendo, it lost them everything, and I think that that's only for the best, because what this console, what the 3DS did, was allow Nintendo to kind of create a springboard for themselves that allowed them to have the success that they're having today, right? What do I mean by that? When the 3DS came out, Floppiana, it was terrible. No one really understood why we needed it or why there were virtually no games for it, and all of that makes sense. However, over its time, it created a backlog that people really respect today. That being said, it is a backlog that people respect but do not want to play, and that is why I think it is a flop console. It is something that has been kind of obliterated by the process of time simply because of how many games on here are objectively unnecessary. Ignoring the Switch ports of 3DS games, you got your Mario Maker, your Luigi Mansion 2, you've got your Toad Treasure Tracker, like ignoring those literal remakes that are now on the Switch and you can play them in a better form and function. The games that were established on the 3DS were so successful in reigniting people's excitement for them that the predecessors have taken those ideas and done them better elsewhere, thus rendering this console absolutely obsolete for the most part. There's a few exceptions, but really the majority of people never have to pick up a 3DS again because of how much the Wii U and Switch, for that matter, took these good ideas and improved on them with every single aspect. So, first example, we got Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Fantastic handheld Mario game. Perfectly wonderful, perfectly competent. It is a game that melts together these ideas of like obstacle course and platformy, and it takes some ideas from the 2D Mario and then Galaxy and then melts them together and makes a very compact, fun, handheld experience. However, then Nintendo says, well, excuse us, we actually can do better. Let's make the Super Mario 3D World come out, and then a couple years later, let's put it on a handheld. Let's put it on a console that can also be taken around everywhere. And all of a sudden, this thing looks dumb as hell. Super Mario 3D Land, I just replayed it. It's very fun, but you cannot help sitting there and the entire time being like, oh, that's cute. I'd rather play with her, Every single aspect, from the layout, from the character design, from the experience, from the level to level engagement, from the music, from the amount of content that you get, everything in Super Mario 3D Land has been improved and refined and done better in Super Mario 3D World. And that's not a bad thing. That's fantastic. It's rare for Nintendo because they are, to a default, programmed to not make a game that makes their previous game obsolete, right? We got Super Mario 64, then we got Super Mario Sunshine, and both of these games do things that are very different. So even though we can look at the technological leap, Super Mario 64 still holds its value, right? And then we continue with that. We've got Galaxy, we've got Galaxy 2, and arguably I think Galaxy 2 had less impact because its lack of story, but also because of its, albeit better level design than Galaxy, but it was a retread of the same thing, and so people were like, huh? What? Huh? And it never really had its like staying power in the culture like Galaxy does, even though I think people would have more fun playing Galaxy 2 than they would Galaxy. I think that's for a different conversation. However, then we keep moving on. We get 3D World, we get Odyssey. Like all of these games have their own identity, have their own purpose, have their own role in the franchise, and none of them really do exactly what the other is doing except 3D Land. 3D Land comes along, introduces something new, and then 3D World comes along and does every single thing better. Not to mention, 3D World does a really, really good job at finally nailing down Mario's new, like, current sound that we all understand, right? 3D World comes along and adds in this, like, weird, jazzy synth music that had been really, really missing from like the previous games, right? Because we got Galaxy and it's got some like Mario sounds in there. We have Sunshine, and it all kind of felt like a musical blend of different ideas, but it never really felt like we landed on something when it comes to like musical Mario games. You can always tell what was like Mario music, but it never really felt consistent. Now, baby, we've got a musical Mario brand, right? He's boppy, he's big jazz, he's got a little bit of synth twang in there, and every like main Mario platformy game has those kind of vibes, unless it's trying to subvert those things, right? I'm just thinking of like Jump Up Superstar. Like it's very jazzy, it's very like modern, but at the same time it's still got that like weird computer twang to it. I love it. Anyway, moving on. This is a reason why no one online is talking about why the 3DS is the GOAT that needs to be respected. It's because we've all moved on, and Nintendo inadvertently allowed us to move on by making a game like 3D Mario Land obsolete. But wait, there's more. Because what other game was made for the 3DS that everyone loved, yet no one talks about anymore? It's Mario Kart 7. Mario Kart 7 invented the concept of going underwater. It invented it. Write that down. And also invented paragliding for cars. That's crazy. No one's ever done that before. Revolutionary. Mario Kart 7 is a fantastic game, especially for a handheld. It's very good. It's got some weird limitations, but it's very like Nintendo-y in those limitations where you forgive them because it's like, nah, they added the bee lady because they're being fun. They're being cute. But regardless, Mario Kart 7 walked so that Mario Kart 8 could fucking sprint and punch you in the face, right? And, you know, Mario Kart 8 isn't perfect, but it is like the quintessential Mario racing game. I don't think anyone would argue with that. But the thing is, Mario Kart 8 is just a fucking retread of whatever hell this game is doing. Mario Kart 8 takes everything that Mario Kart 7 is doing and says also maybe people can go upside down. End of list. Then it takes the music and it gives Mario Kart a more distinctive style. It takes the courses and gives Mario Kart a more distinctive style. It takes everything that it does really well and just keeps going. And normally in a Mario Kart game, again, we get different vibes. We get different kind of just mindsets with the gameplay and with the kind of almost not platformy, but like with the obstacles that a Mario Kart game presents, or the ways that you race. It usually, new games kind of add things that you can play around with, right? As a racer. Not really this. Mario Kart 8 just takes what Mario Kart 7 does well and just adds to it, making this game entirely obsolete. Unless you want to play in like Maka Woohoo or one of the tracks that have not been remade since then, which is maybe 3% of them, you have no reason. You have absolutely no reason to go back to this. The Mario Kart 8 is on a handheld. Everyone and their mother has played it, so everyone knows what you're talking about. It's great. But again, we have a fantastic game that Nintendo chose to reiterate on, thus making it completely obsolete. And I think it's so interesting that no one talks about the 3DS with respect and courage, because it deserves it. It deserves the courage. I'm in the middle of playing Kirby Robobot right now. It's good. It's good. I don't know if I'm a Kirby apologist. Like, I don't know if I'm just going through the motions with Kirby because that's what you do, or if I just like think Kirby's too easy for me. I don't know. I'll come out with a thing later. But regardless, I also think it's interesting that this is more present now, but like anytime Nintendo needs to show off something technological, anytime they feel as if they need to really show their like homework in how impressive something is, either graphically or, you know, with the new 3D thing, they go back to their remakes and they're like, look at this. Look how look how great. Look, technology is great. We're using it. Isn't that cool? And so you've also got one of the big e-tickets here is Ocarina of Time 3D, which again, it's like good, but we can also play this on every Nintendo console that exists, so that's not special. And then we also have what? Star Fox 3D, which they are making for the, I think, hold on, let me count, 18th time? I think that's the correct number. Everything in this, like, backlog has been either done better elsewhere or was a fantastic means of reinvigorating a franchise and like pumping it with some good ideas and giving it some life while using that energy to thrust it forward in the future. I'm thinking like Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, like that was truly like that was the last moment where it had to just like fucking do something, you know, to sell a unit for Nintendo to profit off of, and it did. And now Fire Emblem is one of Nintendo's, I would say, like big five, you know. And then same with Animal Cross, it really solidified it as like a cozy franchise that people really enjoy playing. Sold a ton of copies. Didn't I don't know that's its sales comparison to the DS. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But again, Animal Crossing, big event. It also got Happy Home Designer, which like more established ideas to take into New Leaf. Nope, sorry, New Horizons. And yeah, there's just a ton of more examples that I can't think of right now, but I'm sure I'd be able to defend myself in the comments of, and so on. So when you hear a little annoying little bitch in your ear going on about how the Wii U is this and the Wii U is that, you have my permission and you have the permission of scholars of history to shoot them down, call them an idiot to their face, and to say that no, actually, everything you thought the Wii U was, the 3DS was. And the reason you're not talking about it right now is because Metroid. That's a franchise that was kind of like slowly brought back to life. Kinda. Still got some work to do, but that's another one. The next time a bitch talks about the Wii U because they've got nothing else to do and they don't have a job and they need to go outside and touch some grass, you just tell them that I sent you to say that they're wrong and that they need to start commenting on the 3DS being their goat and their passion in life instead of a dead console that really had no business existing. I think that's it. But that's not a hot take. That's what everyone already agrees with. That's not something we need to be litigating in court, you know. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for agreeing with me. And if you don't agree with me, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. But Yeah, those are my thoughts. I love my 3DS. I'm going through and playing virtually all of my backlog just to see what the vibe is, and I'm having a lot of fun. There's a lot of games that don't hold up. There's a lot of games where I'm like, oh, I gave this too much credit. I gave this way too much credit. But the opposite is also true, and I think that's the case with every game, right? Like I think we just remember things we want to remember. What I can't figure out how to use my my Pokemon bank. I can't figure out how to use it. It's not connecting. I need to figure out because I want to play a Pokemon game again. As a certified Pokemon hater, I want to play a Pokemon game again, and I can't on this, and I need to. I'm tempted to just start the game over, even though I have some pretty powerful Pokemons. I'm tempted to just start it over. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.